that vivid crunch of beetroot, sweet potato, and carrot slices. It's colorful, crunchy, and absolutely delicious. But have you ever stopped to ask what it really takes to turn fresh roots straight from the field into those shiny bags of vegetable chips on supermarket shelves? This Veggie Crisps market is a multi-billion-dollar industry driven by massive consumer demand for plant-based snacks. To keep shelves stocked, industrial production lines are capable of slicing hundreds of kilos of roots per hour, but making them is no easy task. If manufacturers just fried these high-sugar vegetables traditionally, they would turn into a greasy, brown mess. The secret to that perfect color and low oil content is complex and a secret that we'll be uncovering in this video. If you want to see the high-speed industrial engineering behind this process, managing oil absorption, moisture control, and packaging, hit that like button and subscribe to Whole Process. Today, we're going behind the scenes to see the choreography of machines that deliver that satisfying crunch every single time. The origin of these crispy, crunchy delights traces back to the expansion of potato crisp expansion in the 20th century, but now the roaster includes other vegetable flavors looking for some market share in people's hearts. Their history, however, is a very recent one, even though their roots are all in the same tradition of preserving and enhancing veggies in a delicious way. After changing consumer tastes from the basic potato in the late 20th century, the Veggie Crisps finally started getting their spotlight. Their rise began in the 1980s and 90s, when health-conscious consumers began experimenting with their diets. Early producers, including small artisanal brands in Britain's countryside, marketed these snacks as natural and hand-cooked alternatives to standard crisps. But in the early 2000s, other brands started realizing this small shift, and companies like Tyrrell chips in the US and Tyrrell's in the UK commercialized the process by including vacuum frying and low-temperature cooking to retain color and nutrients. This success brought vegetable crisps to more mainstream markets, making them a lot more accessible. Today, these simple crisps occupy a global market share, which is valued in billions, reflecting their growing demand, especially as they stand as plant-based snacks while being commercially perceived as healthy foods. From taro chips in Asia to beet and kale crisps in Europe, there really is a flavor for everyone. But no task is ever easy. Making vegetable chips isn't just a matter of slicing and frying. The process hides a lot of complexities and technical problems. Did you know that root vegetables used for chips often require vacuum frying at lower temperatures to preserve color and nutrients? Or that some lines specially brush, wash, and sort each vegetable slice for uniformity, removing sugars or starches to avoid unwanted browning? Inside this vegetable chip production line, you'll find stainless steel washing drums, brush washers for roots, precision cutters slicing each carrot or beet into uniform slices, vacuum fryers humming in controlled chambers, seasoning drums tossing crisps and flavor dust, and packaging machines sealing airtight bags. The journey begins with raw vegetables getting carefully selected for this process. Root vegetables are usually preferred due to their unique texture and their ability to crisp up. Manufacturers inspect the produce selected like mentioned previously, and any lot with failing standards is rejected so that the companies can uphold their standards. This stage may seem like the easiest, but it's actually the most fundamental and important stage in the whole crisp creation process. A bad source vegetable is going to ruin the tastes of the crisps, and that's why it is imperative that manufacturers pick the right ones. Once accepted from their own personal Hunger Games, the vegetables enter the cleaning and prepping side of things. Industrial machines wash the root vegetables in drum or brush washers to remove dirt, stones, and even contaminants. Peeling may follow, but sometimes the skin is left on for certain vegetables for added color and fiber content. The ease of the next step really depends on the type of vegetables being used. Each veggie influences slicing technique and thickness priority in its own unique way. Unlike traditional potato chip manufacture where blanching is standard, many root vegetables for veggie chips skip intense blanching because their starch-sugar profile differs. However, for some vegetables with higher reducing sugars or unwanted browning risk, blanching or steam treatment may be used to stabilize color and texture. In manufacturing, there are a million things checks and rechecks to ensure that the final product is perfect. Things like raw vegetable sampling, like size, sugar content, and even checking if the veggies are blemish-free is common and almost non-negotiable. Other checks include determining where each veggie slice is the optimal thickness, or looking at things like frying temperature and oil quality, moisture and oil uptake after cooking. Because when you open a bag of veggie chips, you expect consistent crunch, flavor, and freshness. Every single time. No one wants soggy, greasy chips. At least we definitely don't. Sorting conveyors remove any defective pieces from these, now clean veggies. Things like bruised roots or foreign objects. Uniform size is critical for subsequent slicing and cooking consistency. Next, the cleaned vegetables are sent through large industrial-scale mechanical slicers. Here, the clean vegetables are sliced into thin sections to keep that beloved uniformity. For many vegetable chips, the thickness is in the range of 1 to 3 millimeters for optimal crisping. The type of industrial slicers often tend to be either rotary discs or continuous cutters. Either one delivers those uniform slices which ensure even frying, color, and texture. In some systems, drying or partial dehydration, which can either be done via heated air or, if the facilities are feeling a bit fancy, a vacuum. This really helps to reduce surface moisture prior to frying. The core transformation stage is cooking. For vegetable chips, manufacturers frequently use vacuum frying, which is a process performed under reduced pressure and lower temperature, which helps retain color, lower oil uptake, and preserve nutrients. Think of it like normal deep frying, but instead of being in a deep fryer, it's housed inside a vacuum changer. There's another hidden plus. Continuous vacuum fryers lead to a longer lifetime of the oil, used meaning that facilities are changing oil a lot less often than normal. This method is also noted for allowing lesser fat absorption than traditional fryers. So, a win-win. Alternatively, some lines use standard deep frying temperatures, which are around 160 to 180 degrees Celsius. Sometimes certain facilities also use baking/dehydration methods for alternative textures. During frying, moisture evaporates rapidly, leaving a crisp structure. The slice texture, oil absorption, color, and crunch are governed by precise temperature, time, and oil quality. For example, a study noted that vacuum frying retained higher vitamin C versus conventional methods. After frying, excess oil must be removed to ensure crispness, shelf life stability, and avoid rancidity. No one wants super oily chips, especially not us. For potato crisps, this is standard, and since vegetable chips are also the same in essence, they adopt similar measures. The product is then cooled in controlled conveyors so that no steam remains, which could cause sogginess or off flavors. Moisture content is kept very low, often below 2 to 4%, to ensure that audible crunch and also to preserve shelf life. But what does moisture have to do with shelf life? The answer lies in the fact that moisture usually means a loss of crispiness and hence staleness. Chips have always been a low moisture product, so that the increase in moisture can seriously impact their quality. Another reason is unwanted chemical reactions. Chips naturally have a high amount of fat content, which is very susceptible to oxidation when exposed to the air. Water speeds up this oxidation process a lot, which is why most manufacturers end up minimizing the chip's exposure to the oxygen in the air by primarily using nitrogen. However, the work that needs to be put in these chips is still not quite done yet. Once each chip is crisp and cooled, the chips move into a seasoning drum. This seasoning drum is best described as a rotating cylinder, where different flavor powders like salt, spices, and herbs are applied according to the manufacturer's recipes. Sometimes, even a light oil or flavor spray is used to help adhesion. Even though you may think that this part is simple, it's actually very important, as flavor distribution plays a key role in how well the product will be received. In the end, Manufacturers pay careful attention to this part and target sodium levels by avoiding lumps or free powder in the bags. Once all the flavor is concentrated, the final act begins: packaging. This is where the product comes alive with each brand's individual branding and labeling. Automatic bag filling machines dominate the stage and fill chips in exact and pre-measured amounts, all through multi-layer bags, all designed to protect from moisture, light, and oxygen. Some manufacturers even go a step further and use nitrogen gas to flush out any excess oxygen from the bags. This helps keep the chips fresher for much longer and ensures that once they get sealed, there's no trapped air. After the bags are filled, they get inspected for their fill levels and the seal integrity, then they get placed into cartons. Each meticulously packed into pallets for dispatch quality control, then monitors the weights of the batch and other things like the labeling accuracy. Any issue in the product found in this stage is an immediate cause for the batch being recalled. That is why quality assurance is never just left for the final stage. It's a consistent process throughout the production, like we mentioned above. However, once the product passes the green light, it gets shipped off across the world to warehouses and supermarkets. From being just roots underground, these vegetables get converted to crispy, crunchy snacks in your pantry, displaying one of the most wonderful industrial journeys. So the next time you open a bag of vegetable crisps, you'll know that behind each mouthful of crisps lies a long chain of work, all orchestrated to deliver that satisfying crackle between your teeth. If you enjoyed this look inside the creation of vegetable crisps, consider sticking around for more stories about how everyday foods and drinks are made. If you enjoyed discovering how kombucha is made, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves learning how everyday products come to life. Because every factory, every recipe, and every process has a story, and we'll be uncovering many more of them. As always, thank you for watching Whole Process. As always, we'll see you in the next one.